Today we are going to start working on lesson 2 in Photoshop. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to open up Photoshop and we want to clear out all the settings. So if you recall from last week, we're going to hold our Command or Control, Option or Alt, and Shift key down as we open up. As we click on it, it should say, do you want to delete all the Adobe settings files? We are going to say yes, just so that, again, we are all consistent across the board. In this week's lesson, we're going to edit a picture and we're going to learn some skills on cropping and resizing images, recoloring images, and working with some adjustment layers. First thing they want us to do is also, in this lesson, we're going to learn how to work with Adobe Bridge. So once we get Photoshop open, the first thing they want us to do is to go up here to File, and then we're going to say Browse in Bridge. We are going to take a minute, and I already have Bridge open, so I apologize. So my Bridge is already open, so down here I open my Bridge up, and it says Adobe Bridge 2025. This will encompass, what's nice about Bridge is it's just a visual browser for files, for Adobe files, and this would also include maybe video that you have created in Premiere or illustrations in Illustrator. First thing they want us to do is they want us to go ahead and put our folder into favorites. We can see up here, I'm on my computer. You know, you're going to have to find your folder that you have our files for this lesson. I know mine are on the desktop, and I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to scroll down till I find Write State Fall 2025. I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to go ahead and put this entire folder, 25, mine's called 25 Photoshop 1 Classroom in a Book. So I'm going to go ahead and I can just drag this over here to favorites. I could go ahead and double click on it and drag my lesson 1 over here as well. And I'll just do both, okay? Here in a minute, we can go in here and say, and I'm going to show you how to remove lesson. So I can right click and say remove from favorites, and I can remove that lesson 1. Because what I really want is lesson 2. So I'm going to take that and stick that over here. If I click on lesson 2, you can see there are 3 files. The first 2, this is the ending file. We're going to get this file, the starting file, to look like this ending file. I do want you to realize that this is a .tif. Okay, we will be saving it as a PSD throughout the working, and then we will export it, or save it as, I'm sorry, not export, we will save it again as a PDF when we're done. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on the start, and I'm going to double click on it, and it will automatically open up in Photoshop. Next thing I want to do is I want to go up here to File. I'm going to hit Save As. We're going to save this just as normal. We're going to save this as O2 Working. Make sure you're saving it in the Lesson 2 folder, which it should automatically go to, but just verify. And then our last name, either first initial or first name. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure it's in there, and I'm going to hit save. Now it's going to ask me, do we want to change anything here? Image compression, I'm going to actually say none, and then all the others, I'm going to just say okay. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to evaluate this image. And I can tell by looking at this image that we have some issues, okay? The first thing is that we have a little deterioration here that we're going to have to fix. We have somebody in this image that does not belong. They're not part of our family. We need to brighten this image up. It looks pretty dull. We need to straighten the image. And if I look down here at the bottom, I can see that this image size might need to change. I am going to want to print this out, so I will want it to be 300 pixels per inch. There will be a video about resolution in this week's lesson, or in the content area, so please make sure you watch that video about resolution and make sure you read the information about resolution. We are going to go down here, and if I go here, I do want you to realize I am on document dimensions if for some reason this does not show up. Next thing I want to do is I want to go up to the top and I want to go to View, Rulers. Okay, I can go down to View and Rulers. Or you can Command R. Just get used to using Command R because that is turning on rulers. The other thing I want to do is I do want to change the units that we're looking at. I could go here and I could switch to inches, but it's not going to change everything to inches. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that anytime I type something in that I am actually changing it in inches. So I'm going to go in here to my settings and I'm going to go under units and rulers and I'm going to make sure rulers is changed to inches. Okay, so either way, either one of those will work. I'm going to go ahead and say okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to use my cropping tool to straighten this out, change my resolution, and I want to change the size. I want this to be a 7 by 7 inch. Since we have changed it to inches, we can see that this is actually a 9 by 9 inch. So I'm going to reduce the size just a little, but I'm going to increase the resolution. So what I want to do is I want to go up here in my crop tool. Yours is probably on ratio. And I want to, you shouldn't have any numbers in here. I want to change this to 7. Okay. And then I want to change this to 7 as well. Once I do that, I look over here and I see now it changed to square. If I hit this, I actually want to go very much to the top. If you scroll up, if you don't see it, just push your cursor up and you should see this. We want to change it to width, height, and resolution. So I do want my width to be 7. I want my height to be 7. And then I want my resolution to be 300. So I'm going to change that right here. And that is going to be pixels per inch. Okay. And once I get that done, I'm going to go ahead and check mark that. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to straighten this image. I am going to do that utilizing the crop tool as well. So I'm going to click on the crop tool. I am now going to click on straighten the image by drawing a line on it. I'm going to click there. And now I'm going to draw where I feel like would be a straight line on this image. So obviously this would be a straight image if I wanted it from here to here, just at the very top of that blue. I'm going to click and you'll see that it will straighten up this image. Now I want you to realize that delete crop pixels is on, and that's fine for this instance. But sometimes we don't want to work destructively. Okay, in this case we are going to work destructively, so we will keep that check mark there. And we want to crop this inside the blue area. So I'm going to click until I am inside this picture. Now, if you need to, you can kind of scoot this over, as I do want it to be this size, until you have all of the image and none of the white. Okay? And then once you have that, you can go ahead and check mark it. That will accept it. Okay? And if you don't do it, I see a little bit on the sides here still, so I'm going to pull a little bit from this side. And if it's snapping like mine is currently doing, I can go up here to View and uncheck Snap. Sometimes snapping is great. Sometimes snapping is very annoying. And you'll feel what I'm talking about. Okay, it will kind of snap to an imaginary grid. Okay, so once you have all of the white around it gone, we are ready to go to our next section, which is correcting tone and color.